I have been living in Denmark for over a decade, and I have noticed that there are key practices that Danes embrace that lead to a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. In this video, I'll share 10 of these habits so you can easily adopt them to boost your own quality of life, no matter where you live, whether in Denmark or not. The Danish way of life is all about finding joy, finding balance, and purpose also in the everyday moments. So get ready to take some notes because these habits are about to change your life for the better. Let's get started. If you're new here, my name is Mario, and on this channel I help people achieve financial independence and live happy and fulfilling lives. Number one is to bike everywhere. So if you have been to Copenhagen, you know that the bikes are the kings of the road. In fact, there are over 600,000, almost 700,000 bikes in the city, compared to a bit more than 100,000 cars. And 62% of people living in Copenhagen commute either to work or to school by bicycle every single day, rain or shine. And I'm one of those. I don't have a car and I live on my bike. Biking is not just a convenient way of transporting yourself around the city, it's also an incredibly good thing for your health. So cycling regularly will also help you reduce heart disease, reduce obesity. It can also help you with this zone 2 training, which is kind of a fancy thing now going on. And it's a good way also to get fresh air and exercise, even when you don't really thinking about it or when you don't really go specifically for it. So even if you don't live in Copenhagen, just think about how can you involve a bicycle in your everyday life. So maybe when next time you go to a supermarket, you don't need to hop into the car and you can just get a bicycle instead. Those kind of small things over the long term can make a big difference. Number two is to practice Hygge. And Hygge is the Danish word that has taken the world by storm. What does Hygge exactly mean? Hygge is about creating a warm, cozy, and contented atmosphere. It's about savoring the simple pleasures in life, like sometimes sipping a hot cup of coffee when it's cold outside, snuggling up in a hot blanket or a soft blanket also when you're like raining outside as well. And it's also about sharing hearty meals with your friends. Danes are very serious about Hygge. You have seen it all around the world now. And one of the key statistics I like to share on this is that Danes burn more candles, because candles are cozy, per capita than any other place in the world. So it's, as far as I read, 13 pounds of candle wax per year per person, and that's just for the average person. And again, like, this is more about just flames and candles and coziness, but it's something that emphasizes slowing down, being present, and finding joy in the everyday. Practicing Hygge can really make your day-to-day happier and better. So this is one of the ways you can survive the long winter in Denmark. Read about that over here. But again, it's one of those things that you can do even if you don't live in a place like Copenhagen or somewhere that it's maybe the opposite of what you would expect as cozy. It's all about having that mentality of trying to strive for this in your everyday. Number three is to prioritize family time. Danes are all about work-life balance, and they make sure to prioritize that they have enough time with their loved ones. This can be, for example, with the 5 to 6 weeks of paid vacation that we have per year and that people are encouraged to take, and it's very culturally appropriate to take, and nobody will disturb you during your holidays. But also, again, to take some time off with your family during the week, planning a staycation, or even like picking up the kids early and just spending time with them. This is not just about the quantity of time, it's also about the quality of the time. So in Denmark, parents can take up to 52 weeks of combined paternal leave when you get a new baby, and this allows you to basically bond and get attached to your new baby when it comes in, and also to adapt to the new reality of being a father or a mother as you go ahead without having to have the stress of rushing back to work. And one thing I want to highlight as well is that 78% of Danes say that they have enough time to spend with their family. So they say that it's more than enough and they don't need, for example, more in this case, right? So, and that's again because the Danish culture really values that so long as you're productive, so long as you deliver what you need to deliver, nobody's gonna be bugging you at midnight or when you're with your kids to get to do more work. And again, in my opinion, this is one of the huge benefits of working in Denmark. My recommendation, even if you don't work in Denmark, is to just make family time a non-negotiable part of your life. So just separate some hours or some time during the week where that's the time you do X activity with your family, with your kids, with your wife, with your husband. And just again, like the Danes, protect that because again, time flies. Number four is to celebrate the small joys. So when we speak just now about finding joy in the everyday, in the context of Danes and Denmark, it's all about also celebrating the small moments that make life worth living. So for example, despite the long, dark winters and like the very gloomy weather that it's basically months on end on winter, still Danish people consistently rank as one of the happiest in the world. And again, one of the keys that you could see, one of the secrets we could say that despite all this makes Danes happy is that they focus on contentment over achievement. So instead of constantly chasing the next big milestone or stressing over the to-do list, Danes take time to sometimes lay back, appreciate the beauty of and wonder of what they already have. So they might be really much more present and enjoying that baked pastry from the local bakery. They might be more likely to stop and admire the sunset when the sun is out in winter. And again, like of taking an evening walk with their kids. So again, it's more about celebrating and being present and being happy in these small little moments. Personally, this is something I have grown into myself. Sometimes when you have this high achiever mentality, you forget that it's all about the journey and not only about the destination. So of course, the destination is important, but if you don't enjoy, if you're not happy in the day-to-day, and if you're not getting content out of the things that happen in your day-to-day, they're having a situation where maybe even when you achieve what you want to achieve, you'll still not be happy. So take a cue from the Danes and appreciate the day-to-day. Number 5 is to embrace the outdoors. So Denmark is an outdoor lover's paradise, even when you don't really even have mountains here. So despite being a flat grassland, basically, Denmark is a lover's paradise for people that love the doors. Again, 90% of Danish people live within 15 minutes of a green space or a park. And this means that a lot of people in winter as well, but especially in summer and in spring, they spend a lot of time in nature. I don't need to tell you, but it's good to stress it out. Spending time in nature has profound effects on your physical and mental health. Exposure to nature has been shown time and again that will reduce love stress hormones or improve your mood or just even boost your immune functions. Personally, I can tell you I love to spend time in the outdoors. I can give you even a concrete example. So I just spent the whole morning playing with my kids and I was a bit tired. I just had lunch and I was like, okay, I really need to rest, but I need to take the small kid to sleep. And then I thought like, okay, I want to do this myself, because one of the good ways about where I live is that we basically have a forest just close by, or a wilderness. And walking in the wilderness with a baby for 20 minutes until he fell asleep was very soothing and very relaxing and makes me feel really good. And I think like you can also try to have that basically anywhere you live. Find some green space where you can just go and use to zoom in or relax. Number 6 is to foster lifelong learning. Danes are big believers in the power of education and not just in the classroom. Denmark is one of those countries that offers basically free education for all citizens and many international students as well, like me when I came here. And from the moment you enter elementary school all the way up to university and including university. But one of the mentalities people have here is that learning doesn't stop when you are in school or when you finish school, because 1 out of 3 Danish adults participate in continuing education each year. And that is whether learning a new language or picking up a new hobby or also doing something or a certificate to advance in their career. This commitment to lifelong learning has really a lot of benefits for your brain health, but also for your well-being. To know that you're always in the top of your game and that you are learning and you are developing yourself, doing things that you love, because you will not be doing only things just because of your career, but because you are actually enjoying them. That's actually really good. So take a cue from the Danes and take one thing that you're interested about and try to see how can you fit it in your calendar over the next few months. Maybe it's a cooking class, maybe it's getting into yoga, maybe it's learning a new skill like tango dancing or playing the drums. You name it, but it's actually good that you always have a hobby or something that you're developing yourself towards. If it's related to your career, that's great as well. If you're interested, for instance, in learning about investing in Denmark or the rules and regulations you need to be aware of, or you're interested in building an online business and what are the things you need to know to to build an online business, there's going to be links down in the video description to free courses I have put myself to basically teach you this in a way that is very conducive to people that don't have a lot of time to be doing a lot of research. Number 7 is to dress in style and to take good care of yourself. Because when it comes to fashion, Danes have a distinct aesthetic that really emphasizes simplicity, functionality, and quality over the trends in other places. So again, what you see in Denmark is that the style is more constant from year to year, and people invest in like a few well-made, versatile pieces that they can be mixing and matching to create these kind of timeless looks. There's a lot of black, like me here at the moment, black t-shirt, but still, you get the point. There's about this idea of timeless looks. I was also surprised that when I moved to Denmark, I realized that a lot of people take a lot of effort into self-grooming and taking care of themselves. Again, that's because maybe sometimes have extra time, but they could be make sure that they do workouts to feel strong and healthy, taking hot baths when they have a bath that they can do, getting massages. So again, or taking the extra time to get their hair nice, or doing these kind of acts of self-love to make a difference. Again, it's not that you need to dress up like Dane, but this idea of having a few good pieces that you can go into without having to think about this treadmill of fast fashion, that's always good as well. Number 8 is to take time off. Because again, as I stressed before, in Denmark, taking time off is not a luxury, it's just a way of life here. The average Dane works around 37 hours a week. Sometimes you might work more, but still, like in most offices, the expectation is that you are not going to be working 24/7. And also, as I said, when it comes to holidays, you have a lot of holidays, 5 to 6 weeks, and sometimes you would see that people can completely shut out. And that's actually nice because again, I see it myself, even as a productivity guru, when it comes to recharging, when it comes to building yourself towards high performance, you need to have those breaks. So the moment you work non-stop for 15 hours a day, non-stop, and then you don't take holidays and you don't take breaks, you're gonna burn out. And the way you can keep productivity high over the long term is to have these periods where you can really focus on recharging yourself. And again, this is something that is built into the culture here, but that we can try to strive for in other places as well. Number 9 is to practice trust and social responsibility. One of the most striking things to me when I came to Denmark was how much Danish society trusts their institutions and their governments. Again, like coming from a corrupt country as mine is, Argentina, to basically one of the least corrupt countries in the world and one of the most transparent countries in the world has been a big aha moment. Again, like when you have a trust in the government, when you have trust in the institutions, and you even have trust in the fellow citizens, you can basically remove a lot of friction from life. You can have this sense of safety, the sense of security, and then sense of belonging that basically is essential for the well-being. While we can't make our own countries least corrupt from one day to the other, I think that what we can try to take from Denmark is this kind of sense of social belonging. What you can see in Denmark is a lot of the Danes, they really participate in a lot of clubs and institutions and forenings, as they call here, that basically like are involved in the grassroots movements. And when you're involved at this grassroots level across the board by a lot of people across society, then you can drive important change. So think, where can you and your friends be involved in a grassroots level to drive an agenda that is important to you? Number 10 is to prioritize exercise and movement. 80% of Danish people, or Danish adults, let me say, meet the World Health Organization's recommendation for physical activity. And this is not only about hitting the gym or going for a run, even though those are great, but it's also about having this idea of movement, of workouts, of getting yourself in the mood. This can be, for example, as I said before, biking to work, but also, as I do often, taking a walk after lunch or joining a local sports team. Again, one of the benefits as well of working in Denmark is that many companies have a gym at the office, or they sponsor you to go to a gym somewhere else. With so many beautiful parks and green spaces, as I said, that are very easily accessible for most people, there's also great opportunities for you to work out in the outdoors. Again, going back to my high performance guru times, there's something I want to highlight, that is that there's no better high performance drug than exercise. Even if it takes you time, the amount of energy and the amount of focus you can unlock by consistently exercising is something that you can apply to excel at whatever you need to do. Prioritize working out, that is super important as well. Of course, adopting these habits isn't about trying to be Danish or changing who we are. It's about taking the best parts of Danish culture and adapting them to fit your own unique context and lifestyle. Remember, the Danish way of life is all about finding balance, it's about finding joy and connection in the everyday moments, and it's about also slowing down, being present, and again, savoring the simple pleasures that make life worth living. So you can also start small, choose 1 or 2 out of these habits that resonate the most with you, and try to incorporate them into your everyday routine. Maybe it's gonna be biking once a week to work, or it can be settling up a place aside in your house where you can actually do Hygge, or it can also be small shifts that you will do over time to basically, hopefully, improve your quality of life and your overall well-being. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on Danish culture and the expat life. I'll see you next time, and be safe.